Anybody know what job retention is? What that means?
Keeping your job.
Keeping your job. Okay, that's one thing. Anything else? Job retention? I'll write it down one second. So keeping your job. So someone says keeping the job. Keep job. Anything else? Anything else? So just keep a job. How do I keep a job? Okay, you guys all been training.
Professionalism.
Okay, but how do we do that? Let's pinpoint it. How do we keep a job? Especially if you don't like a job. Let me put it like that. Let me narrow it down. You all got training, some security, culinary, office administrative positions. You know what I'm saying, that you guys are using right now that you're getting ready to transition. So some of you will see us. Most definitely see Ms. Nancy and myself. This is the end of pretty much the Job Corps experience right now. So that means that it's time for you to start taking all these things that you have to now apply to go out there and get a job, a career, right? Here's the problem. It's easy to just put an application in, all this training and everything you've done, but here's the hard part. Going to a job you don't like. How do we sustain that? How do you continue to keep going to a job you don't like? You know? How do you do that? You just hate the job. You don't want to be there. But Stuart, how can you do that? There's some internal things that happen when you're going to a job. You're going there every day. You're culinary, for instance. You go there, you know, there's this one guy comes in every single day. He just does not wash the dishes the way it should be washed. That just irks you, irritates you. Huh?
I just play music in my head.
Play music in there. There's one thing. There's some external what? What's some other? You can teach them. Look, there's one thing. Teach them. But how do you specifically use? What's some of the things that you use to help you retain the position? Because I see a lot of people coming to Job Corps, and I have a whole list of emails of people who left jobs. I know that I helped them with before they left, and now they're without a job. So that's telling me something. Number one, they're telling me that I don't like the job. Those are the words they're using. I don't like it. I don't have a passion for it. You probably heard work ethic. And also, they said other things like, I don't know, I just took the trade because there was something to do, and I didn't have enough time because I really wanted to do this, but I didn't have enough time to do something else, right? So what happens when you take something, you go to school for something? If you was in college, if somebody was paying for you to go to school, they'd be expecting you to make sure that you go to school, right? You'd be paying money, right? So it's the same thing as the time that you put into your trade, or you put into your career goal, career. It starts with a mindset. Did you know that millennial starts, I think the year is 1981, all the way to about 1996. How many of us born in 1981? Nobody here was born in 1981? Pull me up, what's it? 82? 83?
What?
Earlier? Born, birthday.
Me in the 90s. What? None of us could be that. None of us could
Okay. 81, let me start off. 81 all the way until 96 is the millennial years.
The age cap for job.
Okay.
25.
So what I'm saying is, there used to be where like my dad and grandpa, they would get a job, they would work a job, they'd stay there for like 50 years. They would never leave a job. Like it was unheard of for, somebody in my family to ever switch a job. Like they just worked that job and that was all they did. See what I'm saying? Even if they didn't like the job. Okay, there was a secret to that though. There's a method to it. There's what we call morale, stressors, external and internal. Keep jobs. You deal with it every day here. You may not like what we say as teachers. You may not even like it. I don't know. You may not like half the people that's here. But you still have to show up every day and keep doing what you need to do in order for you to get the end result, the goal, right? So if you have these are stressors and stuff like that cause problems when you come to work, like not being able to get, transportation. That's why I asked, Irving. I asked him, he's going to be moving back to Illinois, right? So in order for him, the transportation situation is a little bit different than the transportation situation here in California. So that's going to be a stressor because he's going to have to try to find ways for him to get back and forth to work. That's already going to cause problems. You want to start removing that. How do you remove that? It's by doing one of the two things. Trying to find a position closer or trying to find something that you can get to. That causes a lot of less stress on you. Okay, another thing, preparation with getting jobs and stuff like that will always keep you less stressed and under the gun or feeling like that. Now, when you're in the job, you got what we call morale. Does anybody know what morale means? They use it a lot in the military.
The overall emotional upkeep of the soldiers. Also, that morale is felt for me. That's moral as a moral obligation.
Okay. So, both. But what's your moral obligation to yourself? Start a job, career. If you're in a job, you're working there, you're in a career, you got a job working at XYZ restaurant, right? And you tell, this person says in an interview, you told them, you know, I'm going to stay at this position for the next 6 months, a year. I want to grow into the company. Then all of a sudden, 2 months go by, you're like, Mr. Benham, Ms. Vine, I don't know. I don't really like this job. It's a lot of work. I don't really like cutting up carrots and stuff. I really don't like doing this. You know, I got to get up early in the morning. I got to be there at 6. I don't like what they're having me do. I don't like the hours. I got to work on the weekends because a lot of you know restaurant jobs are what? You always work weird hours. You don't really work like the whole 9 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday, because it's always open. Okay? So there's some things that will cause a situation to happen in you, in your mind. So I'm saying when you get ready to go to work. Did you know even going to work and getting up in the morning, that takes work. Just to prepare yourself to get up every single morning, get up, get dressed, get ready to go. You see what I'm saying? Like, what is your purpose when you get up to go to work? That's part of passion. If you don't have morale, if you don't have that purpose to be able to get you up every day in the morning and you really feel driven to go to that job, there's going to be a problem later on, because what's going to happen while I'm talking about job retention, what's going to end up happening is you're going to start saying, you know what, I really don't want to be at this job. You ever felt like that before? You start something and for some reason, you know what I'm saying, gradually you're going more, you know, you're full speed when you first started. Okay, have you seen some of the students here that first come to Job Corps? CPP week 4 or 5. I'm talking about like when they first get here, as opposed to where you are right now. See what I'm saying? Where you are right now is not where you used to be. You know the program. You know how to get through it. You know how to deal with certain things that, I hope you know how to deal with those things. External situations that come up. Now, what do I mean by that? There's things that happen on the job. There's things that happen in my life. Family life. Stuff that kind of like pulls you away from doing the best you can do in your job. Then there's things that happen when you say, you know, I really don't like doing this. I don't really want to be here. I'm getting ready to leave. And a lot of students do that here at Job Corps, and they do it at their job. Both. They'll start working. See what I'm saying? Wake up, sir. They start to feel sleepy, start to feel like a little lazy sometimes, not doing what they need to do. So you got to find that why or that purpose, reason why you want to go to work. Do some research. Find out, is this a real good position for you to actually go to every day? Something that you really like to do. I would suggest volunteering positions. The reason why I say that, I know some people don't want to do that or whatever, but before, I've been working with youth probably about like 18, 19 years ago. See what I'm saying? But I started off just working volunteer work in school, college, just helping do whatever I could do. So I knew there was other jobs I could do, but I knew working in other positions, like I did a call-in job, I didn't like it. I wasn't feeling it at all. I just didn't like it. Okay? So that's something that I didn't want to do. I did power driving, construction work, and I liked being outdoors, but I didn't think I could do that like for 50 years or something. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that. So what I had to learn was there had to be something that I wanted to do that I had a passion, but also created some kind of general purpose. Like when you wake up in the morning, you like, yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go to work, but it's not work. Your work, but it's not really work. If you know what I'm saying. Does that make sense? Have you ever found that? Have you found your passion yet? So is your passion cooking? Sure about that?
Yeah.
What's your passion? It's cooking. So that means when you wake up in the morning, when you think about, I heard a person say this one time, he said, when you think about writing when you get up in the morning, you dream about writing, you go to sleep writing, then you're writing. You see what I'm saying? That's you. That's the very person, the essence of you. So when you are getting tired, feel like, kind of slumped over a little bit, you feel like I don't even want to be here, no matter what, the passion that you have will outweigh all those stressors and stuff of being tired and not wanting to be there at the job. Because you'll feel like, you know what, I don't want to be, because you're going to get to that level one day, that plateau where you start to go all the way down, and that's what happens here. I see too many students in the back, they end up getting positions or jobs, and they're working like 6, 7, 8 months. But then once they leave Job Corps, for some reason, they just drift off. And then they'll call me or they'll email me and I'll say, what happened to your job? Oh, no, I don't even like it anyway. What happened? See what I'm saying? And often they'll tell me the number one thing is, well, I really didn't even like culinary. I really didn't want to, I didn't see myself doing just BCT or building maintenance. I don't want to be a custodian or whatever. Or I didn't want to be office administrator. Or I don't even like being a nurse. But yet they're in the trade that they're going to school for. So here's some things you can use. One, find out some of the things everything is productive. Even if you may not stay, like Merlin may not stay in culinary for the rest of his life. But he can use some of the things he's learned in culinary to advance him to the next career objective so that his passion outweighs the things he don't want to do. Because if he gets a job that he really doesn't want to do, he's not going to stay there. And that's what I was talking about, millennial generation, stuff like that. Because once you get a job, you really don't want to be there, you're probably not going to stay there, longer than 6 months to a year. So when Job Corps students come into Job Corps, a lot of them have went to work. A lot of them have had jobs, but it's been in and out, in and out, in and out. What's the reason between that in and out type of stuff at a company? Why do you think that would be? What do you think that would be? What would be the root cause of that?
For me, it'd have to be a problem with the company itself. If I feel like it's not functioning properly, or they're doing something shady, I'm going to leave that company.
Okay. So if there's something shady and you're leaving the company and something's going on, but what about other things that could be going on? What's some other stuff that could be a main problem for that company and why people leave? Just like they don't do it.
Ask him what do you mean about shady? He's just working a job.
Right.
How does he know the in-depthness of the company that makes it shady?
True. So
When
what
you're
we
working for a company, you usually don't know what the CEO is doing unless they close it down.
True, but the kitchen is the heartbeat of a restaurant, and if you know something is wrong in the kitchen, there is something
Oh, I
wrong
didn't know
with
you
the
were talking
restaurant.
about the kitchen. I didn't know that's where he was working all the time.
Well, ask me. Okay. All right. You have a passion. That's the number one thing you should have. How many of your, just a show of hands, have a passion for the trade that you're in? Be honest. Be honest, though. Be really, really honest, okay? Don't just sit there and say that, and then later on, I'm like, I don't like my trade. I don't even want to be here. Because when they start, the reason why I'm saying that, thank you for being honest. The reason why I'm saying that is because when you leave Job Corps, and you guys go out to get jobs, careers before you leave here, the CTS, whoever your CTS is, they're going to call you and they're going to say, you're going to get that phone call. It could be Mr. Ali, it could be Ms. Brianna, whoever is on duty or whatever. And they're going to tell you, they're going to say, how's it going with your work? What's going on? Are you working with, where are you working at? They're going to get what we call a VOE, a verification of employment for you. I'm telling you now. So they're going to call you, and that's part of the program. That's another segment. What I'm saying is, once they do that, and you give them, they ask you, and you tell them, oh, I'm not even working right now. They're going to say, why? Oh, I didn't like the manager. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And then they're going to ask you, well, we need to help you to find a position. So what I'm saying is, when you have retention, we need to do something better. We need to help you to stay in a position longer than just staying at a job for 2 weeks, staying at a job because you want an exit check. There's got to be more than just money, right? Salary has a lot to do with you staying at a job, but I'm telling you, that is not the end result of staying at a job. You should never want to just stay at a position just because they're giving you a lot of money. A lot of people hate their job, but they make the most money, right? Have you ever noticed that? A lot of people. There was a guy I met over the weekend, and he was talking about IT work and everything. And the only thing that he really said about it, you could tell he didn't even like his job. Because the first thing he said to me and my wife, my kids are going to go to camp, and they're sponsoring it. First thing I said, well, what do you think of this job? This company is real big, and I was talking about it. He just kept talking about other stuff. It's like he didn't want to talk nothing about that job at all. He was like, oh yeah, you know, it's another day at work. You can tell when somebody really likes their position or likes doing what they're doing. They take a personal investment in that position. How many of y'all have taken the personal investment in your career instead of it being like just the CTS or being Miss Nancy or being myself or whoever that is supposed to be helping you? Here's the time when you got to find out if you have passion, that's your why you feel like going to that job every day. Because it's going to take some longevity for you to be at a company. It's going to take some research on your end to find out why you want to be there. You're going to have to do this is the time right now. See what I'm saying? Because some of you that are here say, oh, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to do that. I can't help you with that. That passion, that intrinsic, what we call it, motivation, which comes from within, that's something that you got to find out. Right?
What do you want? My passion isn't really about specifically culinary arts. My passion is more like in the personal growth of the industry.
Okay.
And I feel like if I'm going to be working a job, if I'm not growing, that's usually where I kind of start to lose interest.
There we go.
Like if
Good
I'm
point.
not constantly improving. So I feel like when it comes to big jobs like that, where you get paid a lot of money to do something perfectly because you've been training up to that point,
Okay.
I feel like he's finally leveled out that he's good at it, and now he doesn't need to improve because he's good at it, but he's doing the same thing every day. So like, there's no passion in it anymore. There's no like, yeah, this is what I do, and I'm good at it, and I'm getting better. Like if there's no I'm getting better or there's no passion, I feel like it's just kind of an empty job and a waste of time.
Right. Good point. So did y'all hear what she was saying? That was a really good point. Does that make sense, you guys? So if you're not passionate, like Merlin might, like we were talking earlier today, if you've been in a job and maybe this guy's been cooking forever, and you go in there and you're like, oh, I'm real into it, I'm zealous, to work, which is being excited, and you go into there and you're new, you're really into it. But this person that's been there, he's like, I don't even like doing this job. He's probably going to be the person that's going to, you got to be careful that external forces don't internalize in you as a company employee. Because those same factors that's going to hurt you even at Job Corps. Recently I was gone, somebody called me up to there was a big fight or something. I don't know what's going on, but see what I'm saying? Those are outer external. What I mean is outside stuff affecting the inside stuff. If they've been thinking about, look, this is my passion. This is what I want to do. This is my career. I have a passion to make something of myself. Then they would have never done that. You see what I'm saying? Same thing at a company. If you go to a company, you're working, and you know that it's something you want to do, you're not going to jeopardize that because it's something that you want to do, especially when you realize it's not just money. You're trying to get a career. It's the difference between having a job and then you having a career, okay? Because if you have a career, then this part right here, job, the retention part, that's going to fall right in that category. But if you have a job, what's going to end up happening is then we got to talk about retention because now you're just at a job, like McDonald's. Shout out to McDonald's. I don't know if anybody here works at McDonald's. But I'm just saying, if you want to work at McDonald's, that's fine. But if you've been in culinary for any amount of time and you have experience, you went through this whole program, you see what I'm saying? Because you could have did that without Job Corps, without the training. So you got to figure out what can I do or what kind of skill set can I bring to this company that's going to be able to help me so that I can be sustainable, employable, and it's my passion. You got to match both those things, your skill set with your passion. And then what's going to happen is retention won't be a factor in your life. You won't just be in and out of jobs. Because there's too many students that keep calling me, keep emailing me. I see them even on the street sometimes. I live in Pittsburgh. I see people on BART telling me, hey, look, I don't have a job. I don't have this. I don't have that.
What do you want me to
See what I'm
do
saying?
about it?
Yeah, I could say that. But here's the problem. Here's the issue, though. See what I'm saying? I'm invested. When you're invested in something, you have a passion. This is my passion to work with you. See what I'm saying? If it wasn't, you know if somebody's not invested, right? Have you met somebody that's just there for a paycheck? You ever been somewhere where you know every day that you see them, they are not there to assist you. They will not go above and beyond for you at all,
Anybody at the DMV?
right? They're just like next number,
Yeah.
2,100. You're like, gee, I'm 1750. That means I'm gonna be here a long time.
300.
You have some people in the back that are not, they're sitting in position not receiving.
In the back. Hello? In the back. You guys gotta wake up. Wake him up. Sir. What's his name? Juan? No, I'm the other one. I'm talking about in the back. You gotta wake up, sir. No sleeping, man. This is gonna affect you in a positive way. Okay? Okay? Thank you. Respect. All right. So when we are when you work under those type of circumstances, then naturally the environment has a lot to play in that part, right? If you're in a restaurant and you just hate the cooks, you're probably not gonna want to work because you're gonna be like, I don't even want to be here with these guys, man, and it's gonna affect your passion. See what I'm saying, for working in that career, but it's not gonna affect your passion for looking for something else in the same field. You see what I'm saying? You have to learn how, because I'm seeing this way too much. I'm seeing this way too much. When something doesn't go the way you want it to go, or the way I don't want it to go, does not mean you got to say, well, I'm done with this job. Bye. I'm gonna go with my mom and dad. Because that's kind of what's going on at Job Corps. I can see that going on. It's like people are looking at it like almost like, outward stressors, like having a girlfriend or a boyfriend affects your career goals. Because somebody will get terminated and leave, and they'll say, oh, because you got terminated or we got terminated, so we're both going to end up leaving, right? But then that person will come back, and I've seen it many times, literally. If I could show you a video of how many times I've seen people come in here and say, oh, Mr. Ben, you understand, they don't want to do this. It's not about that. It's not about what I want to do or whatever I want to do. You sign up for a program, you're trying to get the training, the career objectives need to be met. You're in CTR1, CTR2, all these classes and everything. And now when you get to CTR2, you should already know at this point what you're trying to do with yourself, right? Even in the back, right? So if you don't have a career objective, and I can tell by body language, when you're sitting there like this, that's a dead giveaway to me that you're not interested in something that's going to help you, okay? Because when you leave Job Corps, it's not going to be someone like me or anybody that's going to be on you like that. It's going to be more like you're going to have to do it on your own, okay? That's what I'm trying to teach you how to do that. You got to have that passion with that skill set. You have the skill set. Some of you have learned a lot in your trade. I can hear it when you talk about it. See what I'm saying? You can hear where that is. You know that this person really is into what they learned here at Job Corps or advanced training or whatever. But others who are here are just like, oh, I need a place to stay. I just, my mom and dad said I couldn't stay there, so, somebody gave me a flyer. So I'm going to be real. I'm just telling you honestly, they may not like it, but I'm going to be real. And that's what's going on. That's not a passion. That's just out of necessity because you're here because nobody else let you sleep on a couch. Okay? That's what it is. But when you're looking for, you should have that motivation. Once your passion is met and you really love what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? I met a teacher a few weeks back, and all she kept telling me was how much she loved teaching, how much she spent in the district for 25 years, how she loved the students and stuff like that. And nobody paid her to do that. She was just telling me. She was talking about my son and how she really enjoyed her job, right? I knew right then and there that this person right here had a passion for what she did. And then I heard other people saying, that teacher over there, man, she really, really did a lot for the students. She set up the PTA meeting, and not that you have to do all that. But what I'm saying is, she told me I had jobs before I was a teacher that I did not like. I worked in a warehouse. I worked in like an office. She said all that stuff. And then I was a teacher's aide. She said I went back to school. I got my credential, and I became a teacher. Okay? So if you don't have here's another thing. If you don't have all of your credentials, that's okay. You're still in that entry-level position right now. A lot of you are not advanced. What I mean by that advanced level in the workforce. Remember I talked about entry-level, intermediate, and then advanced. Pretty soon you will be though. Okay? Pretty soon you will be. Over years, over time, you'll be in your trade. And we know what happens, right? Over years, experience, more education brings what? More hourly, right? Annually and hourly, right? And then top that off, if you have a passion, now you're getting paid to do what?
Have fun.
Something you like to do. See what I'm saying? You go on to work, you're like, man, I love cooking, man. I can't wait to get there. People are like, man, can you stop talking about cooking, Robert? We get it. We're sick of that. You know, I'm just playing. But I'm just saying, in general, if that's something you like to do, now, college folks in here. Anybody here going to ACT? Or in ACT? Nobody? Oh, you said like, you know what?
I'll wait 3 or 5 years before I go to college.
All right. That's not something she wants to do. That's something you don't like college, right? That's not a passion. All right?
That's a
But-
lot of money for the passion.
It is a lot, you know. But if you do go to school and it's something that you choose to do, and like she said, she's more into, you would be like HR. You're the person that's watching over everything, making sure that you're innovative. You would be an innovator. You see what I'm saying? She's the person who'll come in there and be like, not trying to change stuff, but she's like, hey, let's have fun when we cook. She got the music. You go in her restaurant, they're playing music and stuff. And yeah, exactly. I already know. You know what I'm saying? You go to her, make sure y'all stop and check her restaurant out too one day. I'm just putting it out there. But anyway, they have fun. You come in there, man. They don't all wear the average culinary stuff. They wear different stuff. See what I'm saying? You can do that when it's a passion, it's something you like to do. When you don't have that, what ends up happening again is retention efforts are going down, and that's what I'm seeing a lot. Not just with Job Corps students. Youth will come to me. I'll be on the bar sometimes. And I got nephews and stuff, and they'll be telling me stuff like, "I would work, but I just don't like that kind of job. I don't like that type of work." And I was telling them before, look, just get a job, go work somewhere, and just get some experience. And what I've been finding out is that it's more like I should be telling them, look, why don't you pick a trade, pick something that mirrors what you do as far as your passion, and maybe get into an externship like the CMA students do. Find out if that's something you want to do. You might find out, I don't want to do this. I don't want to give you the shots. You might find out, I just don't want to do this. But then you might find out, I could do this job. You know, this is something I can do. I like working with the people. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Go ahead.
And what I was saying is, like, I do want to go to college because I want to know business so that my restaurant can run properly. And
Smart.
I don't like business, but I know it's necessary for me to do what I love.
Exactly.
Type of thing.
Right. So that's good. So she's doing something she likes to do, but at the same time, she's going to also do something that she may not like to do. Business. Does anybody know, like, the average time for a restaurant to go belly up pretty much? Does anybody know? It's about how many years?
6.
About 5 years. So if you want to start your restaurant, culinary people, that's what they say. Not saying that that's going to happen to you, but I'm just saying within a 5-year period, that's what's going on. You're looking at that restaurant probably not surviving too well. So you really got to know business. You got to find your niche market. You got to find out what, your SWOT, which means strength, weakness, and opportunity, and threat. And that's a business term that a lot of people know. That's off topic. But I'm just saying, as far as going into what you're choosing to do, you have to find out, is this something that I can do 15 years from now? See what I'm saying? And the only way you can do that is volunteering, find out, do some research. While y'all in here, day in and day out, looking at these computers, research. I know Ms. Nancy has talked to you students a lot. I know I have as well. Research the company. Find out. When you go on Indeed.com, you can find out what that company is. They have like a lot of lists of reviews. I don't know if you guys ever seen that before. It'll say like the reviews under Indeed. It'll have this person said this about this company. This person said this about this company. You'll be able to find out. Do your research. You won't really know exactly what's going on, but at least you get some kind of, awareness of what is in that company. Okay? As far as retention. Now, when it affects the entire company, the morale of the company, there's a problem because if people are happy to come to work and they're really, really into it, and then all of a sudden you see a shift in the atmosphere, so to speak. You know what I'm talking about? And you ever seen that restaurant where it's your favorite restaurant, and you go there every year? You was going there since you were 6, and all of a sudden, for some reason, the owner changed owners or whatever. Now you start coming in there, it's like, it's not kept up. They don't clean up really. The food is really not that good. The service is terrible. People look at you like, what's your order? Like they don't even want to be there half the time. People are always leaving there. That would be more of an issue to really look at. Okay? So does that make sense to you? These are some things you want to look at. What she said about not growing, you should always continue to keep growing. That will fuel that passion too. So when you get up in the morning, you go to work, you're at your job, and one of the things that I was told is even though you may not go to college or whatever, you should always be continually growing, reading, researching, studying new material. There's always something new coming out. What you're learning right now in the culinary field, 10 years from now, may not even be something that they're even doing right now. Right? Go ahead.
When it comes to figuring out what it is that you want to do, I feel like wearing some pessimistic sunglasses would probably help a lot. But I don't know who says that having a career is easy because it's
True.
not.
I agree with you. I do agree.
But when it comes, because it's not like the first job that you're going to have is going to be your job forever. But
Exactly.
being pessimistic will help you find out the things that you really enjoy the most about what you're doing for right now.
So being adventurous, being able to go in there and say, you know what, I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn about that position. But always having that. You got to kind of fan that flame a little bit. It's like being in a relationship. See what I'm saying? Been married like 19 years, right? So some people have been married even longer. If you talk to somebody and they say they've been married 45 years, they have a couple of stories to tell you about how they stayed together. See what I'm saying? And sometimes people are married to their job. They've been married they've been in that job for like 30 years. They're like, that's all they know. Like, you can't take them away from the job because that's all they know, because they really like doing what they're doing. And it shows. When a person likes doing what they're doing, they're going to maximize the service given to you. That's why when you get good customer service, usually if someone likes it, you can tell. Because when they like their job, they tend to take the time and serve you. But then you get the other person that's like, I don't want to be here. They ain't paying me nothing anyway, so why would I want to be here?
And they talk to you crazy.
Right, they talk to you. You know, they bring you food that's not even yours. You're a diabetic, they're bringing you nothing but stuff that's barely about to kill you. See what I'm saying? Or they'll do something, you tell them, I want a well-done steak, and they bring you it flame. See what I'm saying? Charbroiled or whatever. And you're like, I just told you, like, I don't eat this. What are you doing? Or it's a vegan restaurant. They bring you all this stuff that's not healthy for you. You tell them, I don't want that. So they have an attitude towards you. You're like, okay, well, here, just take it. I've had a lady one time got so mad with me and my wife, she slammed the plate on the table and was upset because we had the nerve because we asked her we didn't want that because it wasn't our order. The guy next to us was like, oh, that's my order. But she got upset. She didn't want to go get it. And she walked off talking about us, cussing about, I don't know what she's doing. She clearly did not like her job. See what I'm saying? Did not like it at all. So those are things you got to look at. You don't want to be in that situation, and you don't want to be in a situation in a job external, in a job where you have to work. Hear me when I say this. If you have to work that job and you got to pay your rent, then, there's other factors that go in. Now you're married or maybe you have kids or whatever. I see a lot of this outside. When you have very little education, very little training and stuff like that, because remember, you're still entry level. Then what ends up happening is you're like, I don't really like being here. And then what happens, these stressors and stuff, they start to wear on you. And over time, eventually it's like a pot that's boiling. And when it boils over, you're just ready to just explode. You're ready to leave. You're like, I don't want to do this, man. I don't want to be here. And everybody looking at you like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? But that one thing sets you off, and now you want to leave. So you got to be able to learn how to be able to handle that kind of stuff. But you can save all that stuff for job retention efforts if you were to learn how to pick the positions. Sometimes you do have to take a job that you may not like. But even if you don't even like the job that you're working at right then and there, see what I'm saying? Learn from that position. Take those skills from that position, and then when you get to the next job, now you can start looking for the job that is your passion or your drive. See what I'm saying? What really makes you happy. See what I'm saying? That makes you, when you get up in the morning, you're like, man, I can't wait to be there. Or whatever. See what I'm saying? You the first one there, last one out. Everybody knows that. They can't get you away from the job. Once that happens, you won't have to deal with that. Your priorities and everything else that's going on, these retention things that happen to you in a job, there won't be no more. Especially in the medical field where you got people coming in, having an attitude. You got if you work in a clinic with kids, parents get upset. You're gonna have all these people coming in there. Why you touch my child? Why you have a lot of issues. Okay, so when you're looking at stressors, external stuff is not gonna affect you that much because your passion is gonna outweigh. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff because you love your job, basically. Internalizing something will definitely mess you up when it's a job you don't like. I know a guy that worked as a custodian for 25 years, man, and he was all messed up. He hated his job. He was a janitor at the school. You know what I'm saying? And that's all he did. He was always, we all know him, man. That's what he wanted to do. But every time he talked about his job, his intent and his anger was so just frustrated. He would talk about the principal. He was like, we don't even know what we're talking about. He didn't want to be there. See what I'm saying? Man, I saw another lady 2 weeks ago outside of McDonald's, and I noticed they had the those little sheets, not sheets, but what do you guys get? The Surf Safe. And I noticed this, so I was like, that's what they teach over a job for. So she's sitting there talking to somebody, and she flat out said, I hate my job. See what I'm saying? Walked out. Just walked away. And all I was doing was looking at something. See what I'm saying? Because I noticed that's what you guys get here at Job Corps. So what I'm saying is, externally, stresses and stuff can cause you to really, if you don't have a passion, you don't have that motivation, it's not your career goal, it doesn't match what you like to do, or you want to do career-wise, then you're probably going to leave that job. See what I'm saying? The millennial generation, they switch up jobs like out of college, man, it'll be like 4 different jobs every 10 years. But now, it's even more.
Passion isn't going to fix that. Like, no matter what job you have, passion isn't going to make everything okay. You just it's more like being honest with life and honest with yourself that customers are going to be rude. You're not going to get along with everyone in the kitchen. Sometimes your manager is going to be a dick, and that's just how it is. It's the positive that you get out of every day going to work. It's not just about the money. It's about what you get out of it. If you feel like you're growing, and if you feel like you're improving as an individual and helping others around you.
Okay. Point taken, but if you don't have an intrinsic motivation to like what you're doing, you'll never stay there. I've never seen anybody stay at a job for a long, long period of time, and they just left. They might have to be there because it's something they have to do, but it's not their passion. It's not their passion. That's when you end up getting ulcers. You end up stressed out. You be in the hospital. You don't like being there. They're like, what happened to such and such? Oh, I don't know. He's in the hospital or something. See what I'm saying? And when that happens, that's not good for your health. It is related to something on the inside. Because when I have a purpose, then I'm more likely to feel good about it, and others will see how good I like it. See what I'm saying? If I like doing what I'm doing, it's going to shine on somebody else. If I hate doing what I'm doing, it's going to be bad for you. Because when you come in, I'm not going to want to do nothing for you. You ask me to do something. You ever had somebody do that before? Walk in, Mr. Bennett, I need you to sign in. Oh, that ain't my job. Let somebody else do it. I don't want to do that. But I can have the other attitude where I could be like, you know what? I'm glad to help you. You know, what do you need me to do? Because my attitude is fixed because the fact, and I could be going through some stuff. I could be going through stressors and going through 15 different things. But it's my why. It's my purpose. It's why I like being in my job. And because even if it is a lot of stuff going on, I still like doing it because I know that this is my passion. My career objective is filled. I like doing what I'm doing. Therefore, I won't have as much job retention stuff going on. That's what you got to look at. So if you're going to pick a job, make sure y'all research. Make sure you look it up. Make sure I think you can go on the Labor Board of Statistics and look at how many people leave jobs and certain careers and stuff like that. You can find out yourself to see if that's something that'll give you a good indication if I really want to go into this field. If you don't, you need to go back to school, work, do whatever you got to do, but find your passion and find the career that you want to do so you don't have to keep changing jobs every couple of years. That's what I'm talking about. All right? Go ahead and take a break.